Hello and welcome to yet another Arsenal podcast. I'm Mark and I am here with Anfield 89 veteran Richard. All right, Sam.
How are we doing? Hello, mate.
Well, how we doing? It's all gone wrong, Rich.
Wheels have come off. Wheels have come off.
Now, you like to start each of these episodes with a temperature check.
Yes.
Mine has been running about mid-90s. I'm going to say low 90s. It took a couple of percentage points off, but not much. I'm still relatively optimistic.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would say 80s, purely because I think there was the initial shock of the last game, which I think we'll do them in chronological order. But I think if you look at the big picture, we're all right, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we are. We're all right. I mean, we've had 3 away games in a week. The second of those away in the Champions League. Not one of the favourites, or even one of the favourites probably to qualify, Slavia Prague. But away games generally have got the potential to turn into an absolute fucking nightmare if you're not on it.
And you've got to look how our forward line's been running to the ground from no one's fault. We've got injuries. And it's been running to the ground. A draw is not the end of the world.
No, but let's start with the Prague game as well.
Yes,
because I probably would have taken a draw there as well, to be honest.
Totally.
But in the event, I thought they were absolutely excellent. The whole
fantastic,
night.
Fantastic. Hincapay, great to see him get a start, and I was really impressed with him. Really impressive.
Yeah, I like him as well. He hasn't got the physique or the physique, the body type of your archetypal left back, as it.
No, but it was a thing that was put on X/Twitter that I saw, that it was an interesting choice because you automatically think, Miles Lewis Skelly will get a game. Prague put in the highest amount of crosses to, quite frankly, one of the biggest centre forwards I've ever seen.
Yeah,
which I can understand why they do that.
He's not a beanpole, is he? He's an absolute unit.
He's not a Gucci model either, is he? Bloody yeah, he's got a face like a bag of spanners. And I tell you what,
why he's so fucking angry the whole night.
So I understand. From my guesswork I think for Arteta went for height at the back. They like putting crosses in. They like putting the ball in the air. And if he was going to rest the beautiful Italian boy, then I think having an absolute unit at left back did make sense. And I thought he played really, really well. And I did enjoy when their centre forward squared up to him. And I went, mate, he's South American. He could have a sock, a gun, could be wearing a vest. You don't know. These boys don't muck about.
No, they don't. But he did look like him, and Gabriel did look a little bit smaller than him. He was absolutely.
First time I saw him next to Big Gabby, and he didn't make him look like Big Gabby, I went, fucking, I wouldn't fancy paying his food bill for the week.
Yeah, as he calls him, medium-sized Gabby.
There was a corner, and he stood next to him, marking him. It's like, shit, he was a big boy.
Yeah, but despite that, we were into this run of not allowing a shot on target. I mean, from where we were 5 years ago, and maybe longer, an absolute... I think at Watford, when we threw away a 2-goal lead in the dark days of the end of Emery era, I think we conceded like 35 shots. I don't think we've done that this season yet.
Just treat yourself. I did it. I think it was a couple of weekends ago when the girls were out. I thought, let me just go back, and I did a review of 4 seasons ago, and it was just goals. I just watched. Our defending made me feel physically sick, and at the time we were going, all right. There were a lot of defenders that I really detested, but we saw that as normal. And you watch it now through this back four's, eyes, and you look at it and you go, oh my God, how far we've come in such a short space of time is nothing short of remarkable.
It is, and it does give you a real defensive stability, because as we say, any away game can turn into a nightmare, and part of that is because they're all up for it. They've got the Arsenal in town. They've only come to see the Arsenal, etc., etc., and they're bang up for it. And don't matter how good you are. It's like when you go away in the FA Cup to like a division team. The first 10, 20 minutes, if you are not concentrated and up for it, you're going to have problems.
Yeah, we're top of the Premier League. That is a scalp. We know, or they're not the strongest team, Slavia Prague, but they're a professional outfit. They're in the Champions League. All these teams can hurt you at some point. And to be honest, at the start of the game, they had a couple of chances. They had, when I say chances, we call them chances these days. They had one that went over the bar, and one, I think, David Raya actually had to get his top dirty and dive for. You know, it was...
I think that solidity is really important, because if you do let a goal in there, or if you let in the first goal, as we saw on the Saturday, it makes life so much harder, doesn't it?
And mentally, if we go a goal ahead, obviously, I still think the weekend was just one of those. We'll get onto that. But I think teams know if we get a goal ahead, they're in for a tough afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there were some amazing performances out there. I thought they had their couple of chances, and it was quite an entertaining game as well. I mean, there was a really good shot from Saka. They had some chances. It was more of an open game than we're used to. Well, that I'm talking about the first half, but yeah, it was a good performance. And for me, Bickel Marino again. Okay, he doesn't give you the spearhead, but you put that boy in the box, he's a clinical finisher.
He's a clinical finisher. I would say he's a great footballer. Now, people might turn their nose up at that, and I'm just saying, in terms of technical ability, you know, he may not be the best forward, he may not be the best midfielder that the club's ever had, but he's a great footballer, and I think that's probably why Arteta has gone to him to. Up front, he's been knocking them in for Spain as well, and maybe something just clicked in his head as well. You know, you start scoring goals, and that unfamiliarity with the position, and you know, you find yourself in the box with a bit of space. In the past, maybe that you haven't had the composure because you know, it's a once every 10 games option, but you get a bit of practice in you, and you are a good footballer. Then that is what can happen, and I think that's what's happened with him.
He's very okay. I think there was some snobbishness when we signed him, because it's going to be very difficult for someone to come in and usurp the two we've got. You know, you're not going to get past Rice, you're not going to get past Zubimendi, but what a squad option. Okay, he's not the most mobile. What a footballing.
Yeah.
I really like him. I think it's a very astute pickup, and it wasn't a lot of money either.
No, it's not a lot of money. You can't have a squad full of £60 million substitutes. Although one day we may have. You know, every now and then you need a Mascara for 12 million and a Marino for however much he cost. That is how you build a squad, but more of that from the Sunderland game. You mentioned it was a good game, an open game, and Saka had an effort, but we did go 1-0 up from a set piece, a penalty that was gained from a corner coming in. Did you think it was a penalty?
For me personally, the European penalty rule is ludicrous. His hand, where's his hand gonna be? You've played football. When you jump, your hands are in these positions. When you're coming down, I'm not going to moan about getting it. I would be furious if it was against us. What's a player to do?
Yeah, I know. I am sympathetic with that argument. And in real time, I didn't see anything either. I wasn't saying that was a penalty. I think I might have a slightly different view of this, because Gabby's header was basically going to go in.
It was going in, yeah.
If he didn't handball it, which is, I know what you're saying, because we gave away a penalty against Inter last season, Marino actually, and it was one of those just fucking hit his hand. What can you do about it? You know, sometimes
it's 8 inches from your body. What are you going to do?
Or even sometimes it's further, and this whole unnatural position, no one is. I would say 90%, if not more, of handballs in the box are accidental.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. There's someone's, you've jumped for a ball, or you're moving across the box and you've changed direction. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
A ball's fired in and it comes off your arm. What are you supposed to do?
I mean, if you do a big jump like starfish and it is your hand, that is
fair enough.
Probably not deliberate, but you are asking for trouble there. But as you say, like, you go up for a header, you've got a 6'4" Brazilian knocking into you. Like,
you've got to use your arms.
Can't help it.
You've got to use your arms, but the penalty itself, and what I like from Saka's penalties this season, is he's putting them hard and in that corner. Hard,
big fan
low.
of that.
Yeah. Keepers aren't stopping.
So I'm just thinking about his Real Madrid penalty from last season where he dinked it and it didn't come off.
Hard, low.
Yeah, but I think Sadio Mane took a penalty for Senegal in the African Cup of Nations final, where he basically started his run up on the edge of the D, ran as fast as he could up to the ball, booted it as hard as he could in the corner. that is my dream penalty thing.
Hit it as hard as you can. Yeah,
Saka does ruin that a little bit with a little stutter,
runner.
Yeah, but once he gets going, he hits it hard. It's only like the beginning bit that
he's definitely improved that this season. It's more a comfortable penalty for the onlooker. But yeah, no, great penalty.
He went the right way, and you're
not going to get those.
That is why you do it. It is physically impossible for a keeper to save a penalty struck like that in that area, the goal. But I guess your margin for error is lower, which is why they don't do it. And then from that moment on, I thought they were very comfortable.
Totally. We dominated the game. We moved the ball well. I think for the past month, Trossard has really, really been impressive.
Yeah, he was
whole game. He's passing, he's shooting, his decision making. I know it does annoy people, and sometimes I catch myself like he'll feint one way, feint the other, do a little jinky thing, just get it in the box. But
yeah, he has got a very frustrating style. I won't take away from his output, which is much better, but he's a grumpy bastard, and he's got a frustrating style, which doesn't endear him to a lot of people. But
if you look at what he cost, and for his numbers, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think it was a great signing, and the fact that it was option B after 90 million quid's worth of Mudryk. So
who currently can't play football for the next 5 years.
Well, he didn't seem to be able to play football when he came to England either.
Yeah,
no difference in his output.
No
goals and no assists, just like when he was playing.
Second goal straight after half time. I mean, just what we needed. A ball over the top from the best Barnet in football. I mean, what a ball that was. His vision, Declan Rice, what a ball that was. He played that. And again, we're talking about Marino. It was on the volley, left foot, crack, past the keeper, near post. You're not stopping that. The technique was superb.
We were talking about Gyökeres actually scoring only goals that he would score. I think that's only a goal Marino would score.
Yeah.
I can't. Maybe on the other side, on his stronger foot, Gyökeres might be able to do it. Coming across the forward and volleying it in. We haven't seen that in an Arsenal shirt yet. But that is a Marino finish. Like, first time, technically excellent. Just like that goal he scored against Real Madrid in the 3-0 when it came to him on the edge of the box and he cracked it into the bottom corner. It's like, I think that is it was overshadowed massively by Declan Rice's 2 free kicks that night, obviously, but on its own merit, that was a great finish. And I also think that was a great finish as well. On the volley, past the near post, any striker in the world would be pleased with that.
Yeah, can I read you? I know I sent this to you. The comments from the Slavia Prague manager after the game. He said, "If I was to list everything dangerous about Arsenal, we wouldn't make it to training. They're a mature team that controls the game. They have tremendous technical quality from the players are so big, strong, fast, and in top form right now. I have to say, Arsenal's standards are astounding. I've never seen anything like it. They have everything coming together: height, power, timing, head play, and most importantly, the playmaking from Declan Rice.
Yeah, I'll come on to Declan Rice when we talk about the Sunderland game. But I bow to no man in this. I don't know who I fancy more, really, Declan Rice or Calafiori. I mean, they've got different physical attributes, no less attractive either of them.
Declan would make you a cracking fry up the next morning.
That is true. That is real. I reckon Calafiori being on his toes in a cab.
You'd be out the door so fast you'd be able to light a fag on the hinges.
And Declan popped up again for that ball that he put in for another Marino goal, which was a bit of a fuck up by the goalie.
People will say, yeah, he was slow to come off his line, but a centre forward, you see a lot of players that won't do what Marino did. He's got a defender on him, and he knows that goalkeeper's coming, and he still jumps and puts his head there. He's facing the opposite way. You're expecting to get clattered at that moment. You're expected to get cleaned out. That is a brave choice.
Yeah, I want to go back to the actual ball in as well. I think that underestimates and doesn't give enough credit to the quality of the delivery. And you get this when he takes a corner as well, Rice, that it seems like they're quite high. Like the trajectory at first is quite steep, but then it's sort of like the spin that he's putting on it means that it absolutely, once it hits the top, and it sort of falls very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that is what tempted the goalie off his line. He saw a ball that was like floated in quite high. And so he made the decision to come. And then by the time he's there, he's had to readjust his body, and he really was shaping to take it in his midriff. Yeah. Rather than not, like, I imagine that the picture he had in his mind was, I'm going to come out, I'm going to claim this, hand above my head, and on with the game we get. But because the ball in was so good and so deceptive, he made that decision, and then that's why he looked weird, because he had to adjust mid-flight of the ball. And as you say, Marino, he took a chance. This is what happens when you take gambles, you take a chance. You know, you risk getting a punch in the head as well. Sometimes you score. And that was great. And I'm really pleased for him. Another couple of goals for Marino. And since he has come into the team as a forward, I think it just gives him more confidence. Maybe he's more certain of his place in the squad. You know, he's obviously a squad player, or, you know, maybe he's the first option that you go to if in midfield, if you need to change it up. But maybe he just needs that to feel a little bit more part of the team and the squad, and that gives him more confidence.
They use it in rugby now, where they're not first team and reserves. They're starters and finishers. You have players that start the game, and you have players that come on to finish the game. And I think he's really banged that into the squad. And yeah, I mean, if you're not starting,
he did do it on Saturday, though, did he? Let's get onto that, because you know the catharsis need is much higher. For that result. And you know, it's even if they weren't banging form, unbeaten at home for ages, away up north, 5:30 post Champions League. Again, you've got to ride out that first half. We didn't really, did we?
No, the first half was a bit timid. It was we played. We've done it a lot of times earlier on this season, where we seem to play within ourselves in the first half. Don't get me wrong, we've got all the possession. We're very controlled, but we don't do much with it. We're not taking risks. We're not the part. You know, as you said before, and it's a very good point. We like to take risks at the back. We're happy playing out and taking risks there. But when we get to the final third, we're happier to turn back. And that was what happened in the first half. Yeah. Do you
think we should have had a penalty in the first few minutes when Marino got elbowed in the head?
What amazes me with penalty, I see it from both sides. That, as we said previously, when you're trying to get across someone, your arm comes up. However, the bar for touching someone on the toe, going around a goalkeeper, and getting an elbow to the ear are very different. It's crazy. Like, you see so many penalties given for a player that's ghosted past the goalkeeper. Everyone knows they're waiting to go over. It's like it's a touches. yet you can concuss someone, which is far more dangerous.
Yeah.
From a a health point of view. I mean, he was down for ages. You look at boxers, how many knockouts happen because you get hit on the ear? You knock someone's equilibrium out. It's a dangerous thing. Would that be given on another part of the pitch? Yeah, I'd like to think so. But
well, absolutely, it would be given, because Craig Pawson is one of these fucking annoying refs that thinks that any time you don't win a headed duel, it's a foul.
Yeah.
You watch how often the ball goes up in the air, someone headed it away, and the player jumping with him commits a foul in his eyes, unless it's in the box, you get a fucking crack in the ear, in which case he's suddenly, oh no, play on. And it's exactly the sort of timid, spineless, shitty refereeing that you're fearful of when you go up north and, the crowd's up. You're never going to get a penalty for that because, manhandling your players, your opposition, is almost accepted and part of it. Back to the old Arsenal don't like it up and bollocks that we had a few years ago.
And that was a point I was going to get onto. I think, you hate moaning about referees and whether it's an unconscious bias. Whether it's an unconscious bias or a conscious bias, it's almost like they've come up. So referees give them a lot more leeway for physicality than us. I mean, look at some of the tackles they were putting in that were waved away, and then what Zubimendi gets a yellow for is absolutely fucking ludicrous.
I think that it typifies exactly what you're talking about there. That because if anything, I thought Eze might have been fouled. For almost identical tackle, and then Zubimendi, I thought that I didn't even think it was a foul. I know some people say, "Oh, he had his arms up and final," but to give a foul and a yellow card,
insane, absolutely insane.
And then go on.
Do you remember the one where Trossard had the ball and got fouled 3 times, and then the foul was given against him? Yeah. I mean, you're like,
I think that happened as the game was winding down as well. As Eze ran into the corner, Ballard basically suplexed him.
Yeah,
and it was a foul to them.
Yeah, I know, but it's very much like Newcastle were the same. Eddie Howe has built a team that are physical. They're known as physical, so they're allowed to do more. But why is that? Because the rules are the rules. Because, they're a physical side. Well, they should be allowed to do more than the opposition. It doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to me either. But it was, he did give a foul and a fucking booking for it. Like, it wasn't even that. He was going sideways. I honestly don't get it. But that is the free kick from which their goal came.
Yes.
Which, for all our defensive solidity, and was far too easy. I don't really know what happened. Was it just one of those things, or
I think they tried to target us with a lot of long balls. The goalkeeper played the long ball up. We didn't win the first header, which is unusual. Then the cardinal sin, we let it bounce in the box. Yeah. And once you do that, it's open season. They get a good knockdown, and from the right winger, I don't think so. But when you let a ball bounce in the box, those things can happen, and you've got to come in the finish. Yeah, you've got to come in the finish. Great finish. There's not much you can do about that.
No, top corner. No.
But there are, in my opinion, there were 2 times we could have dealt with that, and we didn't. But there's been a lot of football played. We've got a lot of players out. There's a lot of players that are tired. We played midweek. They'd had a week to prepare for this game. They were ready.
Yeah, they were ready. But despite that, we had a really good chance to equalise before half time. And it actually gave me a little bit of hope, really, because we had a lot of the ball, which obviously they had prepared for, and every team sort of prepares for. Like, we'll let them have it in that horseshoe, 35 yards from goal, but everyone will be behind the ball.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the pattern of the game that was developing.
Yeah.
And I did fear for the worst, actually, when that developed. I thought, this is going to be a real struggle for the next, hour.
And Saliba had a good chance.
He did have a good chance. He came across Saka. I mean, that left back that he was playing against, Ron Dildo, whatever his fucking name is, he did not endear himself to me during the course of the game. He's like a deflated Casemiro in.
Yeah. It looks like he's been bang on the Mount Jaro and he lost the weight too quick.
Well, and he's one of these players who is as snide as you like, but also mouthy, complains about everything. Like, there was a foul. I think he just chopped Saka down for maybe the 87th time during the game. And you can see him going, I got the ball. I got the ball.
You didn't get the ball. You didn't get the ball. You got his calf.
And he was one of them. And we've got a couple of these in our squad as well. I don't like it, which is what I call a cheat first approach.
Yeah.
Which is, rather than defending the like he should have done, he fell over looking for a foul. And I think who knows what would have happened at VAR, but unfortunately Saliba didn't give him a... But this is what I was saying about Marino. If that had fell for Marino a year ago, he probably would have thumped it over the bar as well. But Saliba is not practicing volleying it in.
And it was very high. It was I watched it again today. It was high and he had to lean back for it. It wasn't the right height for him. No, it would have been very difficult for a striker, let alone a...
and he's not practicing that, is he? That's the thing. But he knew as well, as soon as it was right. And so that took us basically up to half time. Would you have taken a draw if offered it then?
The way we performed in the first half, absolutely. As a fan, at that point, you're going, come on, would you need to get something out of this? At that point, you would have taken a draw. I personally would have gone, let's get out of it. So, something very interesting I heard the other day, it was, okay, we feel bad. We feel bad because it's a draw against Sunderland. If you flip it and we'd have drawn against Newcastle and beat Sunderland, would have been on the same points, but would everyone have felt better?
Yeah, I think they would have done. I think that is such a good way of putting it. Because, I mean, the other thing that the outcome is that we've been on such a good run. And then you go into the international break and you feel like, Man City have clawed their way back to just 4 points. But over the course of the matches in between the international break, we've actually extended our lead over Man City.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Even though it doesn't feel like it.
We were a point ahead at the last international break. We're 4 ahead now.
Yeah,
Liverpool are in the rearview mirror. And not looking like they're going to catch up anytime soon.
No, I mean, things can change very quickly. We've got a lot of our games coming up, like Spurs and Chelsea. And
Spurs, I'm telling you, they're going to come to the Emirates, they're going to bend over, they take what's given to them, and they're going home.
All right.
We're getting players back. I'm always nervous.
I love the optimism, and I don't feel it, not because of the relative strength of the teams, but because, football. That's why. So when they did come out in the second half, I think that at least half an hour, 35 minutes, that might be the best they've played this season.
That was superb. Absolutely superb. It was we've been winning games, but everyone really wanted to see. That sharpness in attack, the way we moved the ball. What I love about Eze, he's not a high touch player. He plays the position very differently to Odegaard, because Odegaard is very high energy. He gets the ball. He can do absolutely everything. Not saying Eze can't, but he plays the position in a very different way. But what I love about him, and it was highlighted with the first goal, is he will take that one touch. He will play that ball first time to release someone, and we haven't had that in so long.
Yeah.
When he released the ball to Marino, who then plays it to Saka, it was 1-2, boom. And there's so many times this season, as great as our players are and how many good goals and chances we can create, sometimes I get frustrated. Pull the trigger, play that pass. Okay, if it doesn't get there, okay, so you've lost the ball once, try it. And sometimes it could just be my amateur opinion, but sometimes it's a little bit too safe going forward. And it was nice to see us come out and play in a way that gives me hope for us moving through the gears for the second half of the season.
Yeah, and the goal itself, the finish was fucking unbelievable.
Great finish.
I thought Marino gave him a dodgy pass, really. Was that the only pass he could have given him? I don't think...
Really? It wasn't. There was a bit of space there, but I think players know players. It's like Bergkamp. They will say you could hit a ball at him as hard as you like. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You could just play it into that area. Saka's got it. Saka's got it under control. Don't worry.
Good point. Yeah, because what a finish it was. I'm starting to think that we know he's left-footed, we know he likes to come inside, but he don't mind going outside either. And I think that is such a powerful option to have, because all this show him inside. Well, sometimes he says, right, fuck it then. I'll go to the byline and get one across with my right foot. And that option in itself opens up the left-footed side of it. And when you're banging in postage stamp near post efforts off your right foot like that, it puts another element of doubt. We cannot you just can't let him get near goal. And that's a much harder proposition than show him outside.
Yeah, and being a fullback, when you know you've got a winger that will cut inside, well, that's 50% of your job done. When you don't know where he's going to go, and he's of the caliber world-class player like Saka, that's nightmare fuel. Yeah, it really is. It was just a massive turnaround in that second half.
Yeah. Well, but that got them nice and level very early on. And then the way that they penned it, I mean, the game was played basically in the final third of the pitch for that 35 minutes.
We strangled the life out of them. We completely strangled the life out of them. The passing was crisp.
Rice.
Oh.
Do you know what he reminded me of during that game? Is like an old-fashioned German midfielder that you used to get. I know Ballack's not really old-fashioned, but in the Ballack mould, Mateus as well. Like just utter physical and technical control over this space. You can't get the ball off him. You can't run round him. You can't do anything, and he's just so physically imposing.
But it's the way he won the ball. It was the way he won the ball for that first goal. The player had 3-4 yards on him, and he just munched him.
Yeah,
I'm having that.
Yeah, he did. Declan Rice.
I will wear. I mean, listeners, I don't know. All three of you. I've got my Saliba and Gabriel t-shirt on today, but I have another Saka and Rice one that I will definitely wear next.
All right, look forward to it.
I feel my collection will be growing.
So him and Zubimendi, what a pair they are. And in that moment, well, I say moment, it was basically over a quarter of the game. They absolutely dominated them, moving the ball. And one of the things that they've obviously been told with Arteta is there must have identified some space between their right back and their right-sided centre half.
Yeah.
Because time and time again, players popped up there. Obviously, you've got Calafiori and Trossard there, but I saw Rice in there. Zubimendi had a go there. Saka, Timber.
Yeah.
You're right back to turning up at sort of inside left position.
During that period, I swear I saw Calafiori selling programs in the stand. I mean, we were everywhere. We were absolutely everywhere. But that's beautiful. We've got destroyers that are footballers, and the way they can move. And I think a lot of the press we've got is unfair because Odegaard gives us so having him back and Havertz back who can rotate with Gyökeres and having Madueke. I don't think we've scratched the surface with what we're going to see for the rest of the season with this team. Yeah, and the fact we're 4 points clear at the moment gives me hope, gives me confidence with how this team can progress. Whether we do, there's so many factors. Do we get more injury? You can't ever say it's not a linear. What we've got there, and they get more time together and they get an understanding. Eze playing more on the left-hand side, which he's more comfortable with. We've got such a talented... It's the deepest squad I've ever seen.
Yeah. And that, I think, was reflected in the amount of different players who had chances. So he said all those players that had popped up, they all had a sort of go at one level or another. Zubimendi at the bar as well, which would have been a lovely... It was one of those where I'm not sure whether he, given the trajectory, hitting the bar was basically the only thing that could have happened. Do you know what I mean? He could have...
He strikes the ball well. He doesn't score many goals, but he strikes the ball really well. And I think he'll get goals to that position. He likes to just lurk in that position and pick up the loose bits and pieces.
And in that time, I wasn't frightened of the break or anything. They were just clamped on their neck and couldn't do anything about it. And then the Trossard the Trossard goal came what a strike that was. But his overall, even his frustrating turn this way and that way, had more of a purpose to it, had more of an impact.
It opened the space up for him.
Yeah, it did. It opened up the space for him. What a strike it was. I mean, we're not really a strike it from outside the box kind of team, are we? I know like the XG of it's really low, but sometimes you've got to have a crack, haven't you, when it sits up there nice. And what a crack it was.
That would still be going. That would still be rising now.
That's what I loved about it. A shot from outside the box that hits the roof of the net.
It was still going up when the keeper just went, and it was past him. It was past him. It's a great strike. Absolutely super. And at that point, you're thinking, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go. We've got this. We've got the players here that can deal with this. And then we've got to come on, which is something that this season I haven't really levelled at Arteta, but in the past is his substitutions. The fact that we made one substitution with, 6 minutes to go? There were so many tired legs out there.
Yeah, the 3 away games in a week, a depleted squad. You're winning as well, so it's, you do want to just be more solid. And the accusation that you have to Arteta about the subs, and it's kind of a broader one. It's like, is Ben White in Siberia where Zinchenko got sent, or is he not fit? I mean, it's hard to say. I think he's suffering from basically paying through the pain barrier for 18 months, and he is. But could he have done 10 minutes?
Done 10 minutes. Could 1 year?
Norgard.
Could he have come on and just playing? Yeah? Could you have taken? And I know the plan now is clearly Ranieri is playing. Bring him up in a 10 role. Could he have not done 10? Take the leg. Gives in Saka's role a bit of energy out there. I know you hate to question him, and obviously he has his reasons, and he knows what the squad's levels and everything like that. But they changed 3 forwards, and we brought on Mosquera with 6 minutes to go. And for me personally, I feel that's a mistake.
Yeah, because I think it also contributed to what transpired to be a mistake that Raya made. So they started getting a lot of joy with really deep crosses that went over the first centre half. I'm thinking primarily bypass Gabriel. I can't say his name today.
Come on, Gabriel. Why you said Gabriel twice now?
I know, it's like fucking Peter Gabriel. He's like he's part of Genesis.
Going to listen to Sledgehammer.
Right, so Big Gabby, bypass him, win the header against Saliba, and then the knockdown. Right, that was kind of the tactic that I saw. And Raya actually dealt with it well 2 or 3 times, where he came out, he was brave. I think he got himself a little bit injured but he is a front-footed goalkeeper. He gambled, and it paid off on those occasions. And maybe Arteta just thought, look, if you're going to sling it in the box, I'm going to put Mosquera on. We've got 3 players. You're just not going to beat us. I'm going to trust those 3, plus Timber, plus Calafiori to see it out. And wouldn't it?
Are you inviting them on at that point? Are you inviting when you bring another centre half? Are you inviting them on? You're seeding.
Yeah, you are
forward player, and you're putting another player back. You're giving them mentally the impetus to do what they did.
And it's also like, if you are lumping it in the box time and time again, as we saw in the first goal, like it can bounce, something can happen that doesn't go your way. Someone sticks a foot out, and so I would have preferred it if we'd made it harder for them to get the ball in the box. And if that means, taking one of our attacking players off and putting Norgard on, or even Lewis Skelly, like defensive, he can run with the ball, can't he? Sometimes that's what you need, is someone get hold of it, run down to the corner flag, give away a throw, but suddenly they're 90 yards from goal, and you can push up again and eat a bit of the clock up. And he didn't do any of that. And I've a 3rd away game in a week, post Champions League. I really wonder why that was.
I know we've got an international break. He trusts those players. Do you think, right, it's just going to let him empty the tank and then worry about the international?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but I think For me personally, I wouldn't have done it. I still think it's nice if you've got a fresher outlet up top. You can then press. We're a better team than them. We know that they're doing amazingly this season, but we're a better team than them. We could have easily, oh no, we're missing. I still look at it, Nwaneri would have given you that little bit extra, taking a bit off. Saka was looking tired at that point.
Yeah,
just give you that.
I thought they all looked like,
understandably so.
Yeah, I know it's not a criticism of them, but it's just like a fact that they put loads into it, and they were playing against basically, because of 5 subs, half a fresh team who hadn't played in the week. So the goal very late on, it's always a kick in the nuts when that happens. So you've got to look at the Raya decision to come off his line. I know that there's 2 other mistakes there. Like mistakes, I don't know. 2 other incidents where you don't win the first ball, you don't win the second ball. The goalie goes for it and it just dribbles into an empty net, where if he just stayed on his line, it probably would have,
Into his eye, he picked it up off the floor.
Yeah, probably thrown his hat over it and taken 2 minutes to get up, and that would have been it. So, but do you think, have you just got to take that sometimes with Raya, because he is a goalkeeper that takes action, and he'd done that in the previous incidents to good effect?
If you showed me his positives versus his negatives, how often that happens to him is rare. The amount of great saves he makes when he needs to.
Yeah.
Okay, not so much this season. The amount of amazing saves he's making, what he gives us, he's made a mistake, I'm not going to crucify him for it. That's the position. If a forward makes a mistake, it doesn't matter. Midfielder, a little bit more. Defender, okay. If a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's always magnified. I'm not going to crucify him for that. It came a point in the game. It couldn't have happened at a worse point, especially with the international break now. But I'm looking at it. Okay, I'm trying to look at the games in blocks. Let's look at it. Best case, worst case scenario. How many points do we pick up? We're on track. I would have taken that all day long.
Yeah, I think
irrespective of the games we pick them up from, especially with the players out, especially with all right, we had an easier schedule. I'm confident we'll have 3 or 4 back after the international break, and I think we will be all guns blazing. And I'm really, really looking forward to see how we come out of the traps.
Before we get there, there was a chance at the end to nick it and shut everyone up, wasn't there? But like I guess that's what happens in those sort of games. If that had been to make it 3-1, they might have scored. They might have scored, but because they're absolutely pumped up, throwing themselves all over the place. And it
was great. Great defense. As a defender, if you're being in that position, you just throw your body on the line there. You're 2-1 up against, you're the underdogs, you're 2-1 up. If I give a penalty away, it's the same outcome as this going in. So let me just throw my body away. And it was brilliant. And I'd like to point out, is his name Ballard?
Yeah, Ballard.
Dan Ballard. What's his name? Gray used to play for Sunderland. I can't remember.
Michael Gray.
Michael Gray was on TalkSport the other day saying that, demanding that Thomas Tuchel should pick him for England. This Dan Ballard, who's made 32 appearances for Northern Ireland. So there's your TalkSport. There's the level of TalkSport.
Yeah, there it is. So that was it. I mean, I didn't hang around. I was out actually, and I had to watch it somewhere, which meant I didn't see. Well, first of all, I didn't hear any commentary or crowd noise, because it was in a pub with like about 4 other games, including the rugby was on, and that made a massive difference to my mood, like both during and after the game. But it also meant I missed, if that's the right word, all the post-match bullshit as well. So actually, I felt okay with it as well. And then the next day, we had Liverpool basically announcing that they're not in the title race this year.
But what needs to happen? You need to hand your team sheet to Arnie Slot 48 hours before kick-off. And last season. That's the concern. That's the only thing in the back of my mind. Salah, they rode into a title, and we've got the T2000. Yeah. City aren't the team they were. They have currently the best player in the world.
No, but I mean, let's look at it from the stats. That Liverpool have played 11 games this year, and they've lost 5 of them in the Premier League.
Yeah, Yeah,
You know, so is it like the great performance? I mean, it puts our timid performance at Anfield, but we didn't know that at the time, did we?
We didn't know that that's massive soft underbelly. I mean, again, everyone's talked about, they're bedding in new players. So are we.
Yeah.
So are we. You know, a new striker, a new linchpin in midfield. We're rotating up. We're bedding in a load of players. We've got Eze that's bedding in because our captain's injured. So are we, but no one's talking about that, unsurprisingly, because we're not from the Northwest. We're doing the same. We're just dealing with it better. And we had, as far as I'm concerned, a better plan in the summer than that.
Yeah, I think that's right. And hopefully that plan can be put into action after the international break with all those players coming back. There's something weird about the discourse around football where somehow being 4 points clear is somehow worse than being 4 points behind. Like, Man City are probably in the best.
They're coming. Give me the points on the board every day of the week.
Yeah. So with no game coming up this weekend of any consequence, we will just start lighting all your shrines and special candles to the injury gods that make sure everyone comes back safe and sound, and that we have a couple of options back on the bench for that lot. I think we'll leave it there though for this week. We'll preview that game next week.
Can I make a suggestion for next week?
Of course.
And I'd like to do this on international. Can we review games? Can we do the Battle of Old Trafford?
Do we have to?
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to make these under an hour, but I've got a spreadsheet here with about 87 different...
I just really want to do it. I don't know why. I might as well just start self-harming or whatever, but I really want to do it.
Can't we do ones where we won?
We can do those as well, but I just want to talk about the Ashley Cole tackle.
Yeah, what, the Nistelrooy knee height? That's like not even number 5.
It's one of the worst tackles I've ever seen. Yeah, let's save this. All right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a week.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for yet another Arsenal podcast. Messages that we've had, none. And we'll talk to you next week. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.